I would like to suggest to you that the great evil that we contend with is the evil of public servants and systems that fail to serve the good of the people. For all of us who have lived through 2020, we've seen many evils to come up, and we know that there are many things that need to be challenged and many things that need to be changed in our nation. And yet, those would be too many things for me to list in this short time that I have with you. And so I want to deal with the underlining issue that is the common thread of all of the many issues that we are now faced with as a city and as a nation. In my estimation, the issue that we're dealing with is a violation of the basic fundamental principle of service. That principle is that both elected and employed public servants are entrusted and empowered for the good of the people. And when there's a violation of that basic principle, the people suffer because those that are put in place to secure the good of the people have become overcome by a spirit of selfishness and self-interest. With that said, I would like to suggest to you that the great evil that we contend with is the evil of public servants and systems that fail to serve the good of the people. Yet, we know all too well that we can't wait for someone to come along and bring the change that we need. We know too well that when we put our faith in people who are corrupt, that change never comes. And so, in the words of our former president, Teddy Roosevelt, we have to make a decision to do the good that we know that we can do, work with what we have right here where we are. Someone may say, well, what's the work that we have to do? That's simple. It first starts with us embracing and embodying the willingness to serve our fellow neighbor. The first change that has to happen is that we as a community have to make up our mind that we are indeed our brother's keeper. That we will look towards one another's best interests. The second thing that we have to do is that we have to hold elected and employed public servants accountable for serving the good of the people. It cannot be assumed that just because they have a place and a title that they're going to do right by the people. It cannot be assumed just because they got your vote in previous days that they will maintain integrity, because we know that there are moments where power corrupts. And so those of us who put people in places of power must hold those same people accountable to do right for the good of all people. And I want for you to really think about what I just said. The good of all people. Is not enough that you do good for some of the people, but you have to do good for all of the people that you have been appointed to serve. The last thing that I want to offer you all before I bid you farewell is this. We also must teach our young people, whether they're your children or they're youth that we just casually walk by, that all of us have a moral responsibility to live a life of meaning. And what that means for each of us is that we have a responsibility to ensure that the world is just a little better from what we do. All of us have the responsibility to see the ills and the schisms of this life and not turn a blind eye to it, but to understand that I have a part and a role to play in making sure that change comes, so that my grandchildren and my grandchildren's children and my grandchildren's great-grandchildren are able to live in a better place because of the work that I did when God gave me breath to breathe. And so I stand in solidarity with this family and with this community, declaring that there should be no bond granted. If you don't mind, will you just shout that with me? No bond. No bond. No bond. Thank you very much.